Can you hear me? All right, welcome to this second annual M.O.S.T benefit. We're gonna have some great music and performances for you guys tonight. My name's Anna Schuhart. I'll be your host for the evening, so you get to hear a lot of me. Thank you. To start off this evening, we're gonna have a very, very special, to me, guest speaker, Dr. Peter Wallace. He's a pediatrician and he's a member of Iowa's Rotary Club, and he's here to tell you what tonight is all about. So let's welcome Dr. Pete Wallace.
Thank you, and let me add my welcome to tonight's show. As Anna mentioned, I am a pediatrician with the Iowa M.O.S.T team, and I'd like to say just a few words about what the team is, because some of you may not know. We started in 2003 when Dr. John Kennedy, who is an internationally known cleft lip and palate surgeon, plastic surgeon at that time at the university, and also a veteran of about 20 Operation Smile missions around the world, suggested to a few of us that we join a group called Rotoplast and go down to El Salvador to do a cleft repair mission, which we did. It was such a remarkable experience to us that when we came back, we approached our club, all of us were members of the Noon Rotary Club, and asked if they would sponsor us, which they gladly did, and in fact, very shortly thereafter, the entire Rotary District 6000, which is about 64 clubs in southern Iowa, took on sponsorship both morally and some financial also. We settled on Guatemala. Initially, we alternated between two fairly major cities in the highlands of Guatemala, Quetzaltenango and Huehuetenango, before settling the last 3, 4, or 5 years in Huehuetenango. Our partners are the Rotary clubs of those two cities. We're a small team. There are about 30 of us, surgeons, anesthesiologists, pediatricians, dentists, oral surgeons, 10 or 12 nurses, some ancillary people helping us, biomedical engineer, and many Rotarians who come down and work with us as translators and help us with charts and take pictures and put blogs on, which, by the way, you can access and learn a lot about us. The Rotary clubs in Huehue and Quetzal find the patients for us. In the main, they are from the Mayan tribes isolated in the mountains north of Huehuetenango. Not all of them, but most of them. And this is kind of important because they have an extraordinarily high prevalence of cleft lip and cleft palate. We are very concerned about burdening our Rotary hosts with a lot of expenses, so a great part of our budget goes to helping them. For instance, they do house our patients and their families for the week that they have surgery, which we pay for. We pay the salaries of the nurses who work at the hospital overnight when we're not there. And we try to supply everything we use, from gowns, drapes, masks, gloves, anesthesia agents, medications, to any miscellaneous supplies, all the way down to coloring books for our kids. The operating budget is small, and it comes, quite frankly, mostly from donations and from the other Rotary clubs of District 6000, and, very importantly, from fundraisers, such as the one that you are honoring us with your presence tonight. In fact, last year's event raised about $10,000. Very important to us because this last year we had to replace one of the two anesthesia machines that we had donated to the hospital 9 years ago that had broken down, and the $10,000 just covered the cost of a reconditioned anesthesia machine. One small story, bear with me. His name was Ambrosio. He was probably in his 80s someplace, we never really knew. We'd already set the surgery schedule, this was some years ago. He walked in the middle of the week to the hospital. He had cleft lips on both sides, teeth stuck straight out. He obviously had lived on the fringe of Guatemalan society. Dr. Kennedy went down to the emergency room to look at him, took one very quick look and said, "I don't care, we've got to do this guy." And he did it. Took 2 operations on a gurney, in the hallway, outside the operating rooms, under local anesthesia, with a gooseneck lamp. Now after the second operation, Ambrosio was sitting in the recovery room and talking to the nurses through a translator. They gave him a mirror and he looked at it and smiled. And then he said, "I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, but not for me, for all these children that don't have to live their life the way I had to live mine." Nancy Pace and I will be out in the foyer at intermission, and after the show, we have a continuous tape of some slides from previous trips, including a picture of Ambrosio. And we'll be happy to answer questions if you have any about our trips. And if you are so inclined to make an additional donation, we would be happy to receive that for you. So once again, thank you for supporting Iowa M.O.S.T. Thank you for supporting our remarkable student talent, both musical and art. And enjoy the show.